Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and so I've just watched the latest trailer from The Division. Now, if you watched the video I put out a couple of weeks ago towards the end of 2015, I actually said that I think The Division might be Ubisoft's answer to Destiny on the PC. Obviously I know this is coming out on the consoles as well, but it's also coming out on PC, which is a big thing for me. Now, after watching this trailer, it does appear that that's the case, and I'm going to go through this and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this, because I think what we're looking at here is The Division really is Destiny for the PC, which could be a really good thing. Now let's just rewind a sec, because Destiny is a game I actually quite enjoy, which is kind of weird coming from me because I am predominantly a PC gamer. I don't really play all that much console games, especially FPS games on consoles, because I find them terrible. I mean, who the hell can play an FPS game with a controller, right? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't compute to me. Years of Counter-Strike and all that stuff, that's taught me you use a keyboard and mouse. You do not use a controller. Anyway, I really enjoyed Destiny. Why did I enjoy it? Well, I never really well, I think I went into the Crucible, which is the PvP, twice, I think, and that's it. I just used to play PvE all the time, and I didn't really actually know that what I wanted was a FPS cooperative loot-driven game, and I really enjoyed it. Now I know it's got loads of problems, it's 30 FPS, blah blah blah, console games, I get that guys, but as a game, I really enjoyed Destiny. And when the latest expansion came out, which was the Taken King, I had a good time playing that. I don't play Destiny anymore because it gets to a point where once I've experienced enough for me, I kind of drop off, sort of thing. Anyway, let's talk about this trailer, because I think this is just confirmed to me that what we are looking at is essentially a Destiny for the PC. Obviously this isn't an FPS game, this is a third-person shooter, so that's kind of where it looks majorly different, I guess. But let's go through what we've got. So you appear to have a base similar to the tower, however it looks as if this is your own personal base, which you appear to upgrade through completing certain missions, I guess, and other stuff like that, which in turn appears to give you more options for other stuff that you can do. Now it looks like base restoration includes things like the medical wing, the tech wing, the security wing. Now I think these relate to each different class. I think you're looking at a medical class, which is a healer, the tech class, which is also a DPS class, and uses kind of gadgets, gun turrets, and remote control bombs and stuff like that, and the security class, which is basically the tank, it looks like. But it appears that you need to unlock these through doing, certain missions and whatever, which probably gives you access to the classes. And I hope that once you get into the multiplayer towards the end of the game, because that's the way it appears to be structured, that you can just swap between classes as required. You're not sort of forced into one class. So obviously with Destiny, you'd be forced into being a Titan. You can't then become a Warlock. You need to go, well, I guess you could pay to get a Warlock and then level it up to the max level sort of thing. But you know what I'm saying? You can't just... It's almost like having a multiple spec option, but to be able to spec out into different classes instead of just specking into different specs within the same class. It does appear, though, if we look at the story, that you are the last of the, let's say, the old coherent society. You're an agent who's specially trained for the collapse of civilization, so you're basically a guardian. And you operate from a small, secure base, so that's basically the tower. Okay? Very similar. Similar, like, ideas behind the games. Alright, so let's look at what we can see in this trailer. So if we look at the damage model, it looks very similar. Well, it's not very similar. It is exactly the same as Destiny and games like Borderlands, where it seems to be level driven. So you'll notice enemies appear to have various different level indicators above their heads. You'll also notice that when damage is done by the weapons, numbers are piling out of the enemies, which obviously indicates that they're taking an amount of damage relevant to whatever level the weapon is and what stats the weapon has and stats the player has and all of that stuff. So that looks to be the route it's going down, which again, I'm not particularly fussed about. In fact, I kind of enjoy games like that anyway, so for me that's fine. But don't come into this thinking it's going to be a pure shooter experience where if you're landing the headshots you're getting the big kills and that'll be fine. No, I mean, if you don't appear to be the level required to do the mission, you just won't be able to do the mission. The loot system again is very similar to Destiny. We've got different weapon drops from killing certain enemies, so I guess with Destiny you get the engrams, and I mean, I guess it's similar in the way where you pick loot up and loot's got stats, which I like stats on stuff, you know. So it looks like what we've got is weapons have got different stats. So if we look at things like they've got damage, they've got RPM, which is obviously the rate of fire, they've got mag, which is the size of the magazine. I was going to say clip, but I'm pretty sure it's not a clip, it's a magazine. Clip is something different. And I know people have shouted at me, military guys, have been like, Sty, what are you talking about, clip, in the past. So anyway, we'll just roll with mag. The game calls it mag, so it's mag. And also special abilities as well. But along with that, weapons have got an overall DPS rating as well, a required level, and possibly that required level could be the level of the weapon. So if it says level 7, it might mean your character needs to be level 7, or the weapon is actually level 7. I don't know, that hasn't really been clarified. Then if we look at the inventory, we can see various skills. So things like firearms, that must outline how much damage you do with firearms, or how effective you are with firearms. Then we've got things like weapons have got accuracy, they've got reload speed, they've got range, they've got stability stats. This is all stuff I like to see, because I like optimizing characters. I like building characters. Everybody I like playing games, or I did like playing games like Diablo and stuff like that, you know, where you build your character. Everybody's played MMOs, haven't they? World of Warcraft, the same thing. All these loot-driven experiences. People like to play games where they can better their characters, and I really enjoy that. So I'm hoping this game does actually deliver, and it isn't a terrible launch, because you know it is Ubisoft, and there's been some issues in the past with what Ubisoft have been doing, which actually, if we look at Rainbow Six Siege, that came out and it actually did, it's a pretty good game, and it came out and they had some server issues, I think a couple of weeks ago. Now if you get server issues with The Division, which is basically an online game, you're going to have problems there, and that could seriously damage the game. So I hope they've sorted out whatever server problems they've had from Rainbow Six, and they've put that into practice for when they eventually release The Division. Although, I would hope anyway. So there also seems to be a weapon mod system as well. This is where you can customize certain aspects of the weapon. It looks like you've got things like, it only really shows you changing the scope, but the scopes have got different bonuses, which again I find quite interesting. So we've got, maybe you want like a 1.5% headshot XP kill modifier. Now that's interesting that there's XP bonus items, because that means you could actually build yourself to level quicker and then swap out those items and go in for like more damage orientated stuff, or maybe other stuff. I mean, in this example here you can see I could, the guy, I say I could take, it's not like I'm playing it, the guy could take the 1.5% headshot kill scope with the zoom modifier that's got, or maybe he wants a crazy 3 point whatever increased zoom, so he drops the headshot kill modifier. That's good. I like customization. I hope it goes deeper, so we're putting things like silencers on weapons, changing different parts of the weapons, maybe different types of magazines that reload faster, but maybe the bullets in them don't do as much damage. What about ammo and stuff like that? This sounds good. Also, it does seem to have a single player aspect, which the trailer does kind of show you to begin with, where it's like, this is your base, then we're moving through what we're doing, and then we get to the point of, oh, by the way, eventually you'll realize that you don't really want to go alone, so you probably need to play with friends or other people. And then it shows us these agent safe houses that appear to be out in the world, which look like social hubs and multiplayer lobbies. I think I'm going to go out there and presume, although we know assumption is the mother of all you know what, that this is probably going to be where the bulk of player time is spent. You're going to be going to these places and grouping up with people, and then probably going out on strikes, let's say. Again, to compare it to Destiny is probably what we're going to be looking at. Also, as I touched on a bit earlier on, with the class system, where I think you've got, like, you unlock various wings in your single player base, let's say, which then you can customize yourself in different ways and stuff like that. It looks like there are 3 classes, which again I think is pretty good, because Destiny kind of, what annoyed me with Destiny, there wasn't exactly a healer class. I know there are, you know, the Titan could drop the bubble and stuff like that. There were ways of making yourself more durable. This, though, appears to have just gone the traditional tank healer DPS route. It looks like you've got the security class, which is the guy who is deploying massive, like, shields, and he's got, like, mobile cover, and he's the guy who's getting all the aggro, I guess. I mean, I hope it is like this, where there is a tank, because I tell you what, I would play that all day long. I absolutely love playing tanks in MMOs. I would absolutely sit down and play security all day long if that's what it is. Then we've got medic, which appears to be, well, a medic. So interesting stuff like throwing grenades, it looks like, which heal people. There's also like a revive ability which we see go off, which brings people back from a down state. Medics are going to be invaluable. And then the last class is tech, which looks like the DPS class with gadgets and stuff. So we've got like little robots and stuff driving around, and like crazy bombs which seem to home onto the enemies and all that stuff. This is pretty good. I think I'm going to wrap the video up, but well, I'm going to wrap it up with some thoughts. This could potentially be a sleeper hit of this year. I know, yeah, no, all the jokes coming out with like, oh, it's Ubisoft. Is this a downgrade from what we saw years ago at E3? Because it has been years. And, you know, everyone remembers the trailer where the guy shuts the door on the cop car as he gets close to it. But nobody really knew what the game was about. It's like, what are we actually looking at here? And they haven't really been too good at getting that message across, I don't think. Although this trailer has highlighted way more than anything I've seen previous about the game. And I think it has confirmed to me that this really is Ubisoft's answer to Destiny. And obviously it'll be available on every platform. But crucially, it's coming out on PC. Now, I can't... Well, honestly, I don't think I can wait for this game. I want to get my hands on this game and I want to check it out. It could be a sleeper hit of the year. Maybe it will be. Maybe it'll just fall flat on its face. I don't know. But what we do know, and what I do know, is loot-driven game experiences people absolutely love. And I have been waiting for a shooter-style game that I can play with my friends in co-op on PC. Because I enjoyed Destiny. But you know what? Not a lot of my friends have got PS4s or Xbox Ones. They've all got PCs, and that's what I want. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think below. Have you maybe seen things in the trailer? Which I'll actually link to the trailer in the description below as well. So you can watch it full with sound on and all that stuff. Because obviously I've cut it up to show different bits off. What do you think about the game? Do you think the game could be good, or am I just like clutching at straws? It's just, you know, going to be a disaster or whatever. Let me know, guys. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.